This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, students. Already we completed the stability analysis of the cohesionless soil slopes, infinite cohesionless soil slopes. In that, we discussed the stability analysis in the dry condition, in the submerged condition, and also in seepage flow condition. For all those three conditions, in the infinite cohesionless soil slope, I explained the derivation of factor of safety. Now, last class we started the stability analysis of the second type of infinite soil slope, that is the infinite cohesive soil slope. In the first case, it is a cohesionless soil. In cohesionless soil, the cohesion C, cohesion is the attraction between the soil particles. In cohesionless soil, there is no attraction between the soil particles. So in cohesionless soil, the cohesion C equal to 0. Whereas in cohesive soils, there is attraction between the soil particles. So in cohesive soils, we have that cohesion C. So please understand the difference between the cohesionless soil and cohesive soil. In cohesionless soil, the cohesion C equal to 0, whereas in cohesive soils, the soil particles attracts each other, so the cohesion will exist in cohesive soil. Now, last class I explained the stability analysis of the cohesive infinite soil slope in dry condition. So we started this stability analysis of the cohesive infinite soil slopes. So in that cohesive infinite soil slope, last class we completed the stability analysis when the cohesive soil is in dry condition. So please go through that derivation of factor of safety in the infinite cohesive soil slope when the soil is in dry condition. We know that the factor of safety of shear strength Fs is equal to the maximum shear strength resisting the failure of soil slope divided by the shear stress causing the failure of soil slope. In cohesive soils, the maximum shear strength of soil resisting the failure of soil slope is determined by using the Terzaghi shear strength equation. This is the Terzaghi shear strength equation. S is the shear strength. C dash is the cohesion in the cohesive soil. Sigma dash is the effective normal stress in the soil, and phi dash is the angle of internal friction. So this is the Terzaghi equation to calculate the shear strength of cohesive soil. So we are going to use this particular equation of Terzaghi. S is equal to C dash plus sigma dash tan phi dash in this stability analysis of infinite cohesive soil slopes. So in this discussion, first we consider the soil in dry condition. So first I completed last class the stability analysis of infinite cohesive soil slope when the soil is a dry soil. So in this discussion, we consider the infinite cohesive soil slope AB. So check this diagram on the cell phones. That AB is the infinite cohesive soil slope. You know that the infinite soil slope presents in the sloping side of the hills. So in this discussion, we assume the soil in this infinite cohesive soil slope, this soil. The soil in this infinite cohesive soil slope is a cohesive soil. Since it is an infinite soil slope, the infinite soil slope subjected to translational failure. You know that in translational failure, the failure surface is parallel to soil slope. So this is the failure surface in the translational failure CD. So this CD is the translational failure surface. It is parallel to the side slope. The side slope making an angle I with the horizontal. So the line CD also, the plane CD also making the angle I with the horizontal. H is the vertical distance between the side slope AB and the failure surface CD. We are going to discuss the stability analysis of this infinite Kosu soil slope when the soil is in the dry condition. To discuss the stability analysis, we consider the soil prism between the soil slope AB and the failure surface CD. This is the soil prism. Already in the infinite motionless soil slope, we discussed this soil prism, and here also in the infinite Kosu soil slope also we are taking the same soil prism of inclined width B, H vertical height. Now consider this soil prism. This is a cohesive soil prism, not motionless. Here this soil prism is a cohesive soil prism. Find out the area and volume of this soil prism. So this is the soil prism. B is the inclined width, H is the vertical height. Find out this horizontal width of the soil prism. This horizontal width is equal to B cos I. So the area of this soil prism is vertical height H into horizontal width B cos I. That is the area H into B cos I of this soil prism. Take the thickness of this soil prism as unit thickness in the perpendicular direction. Take the thickness as unit thickness. So the volume of this soil prism is height H, horizontal width B cos I into unit thickness 1. So the volume of this soil prism is H into B cos I. Since the soil is in dry condition, the Kosu soil is in dry condition, take gamma is the unit weight of this soil in the soil prism. You know that unit weight is equal to weight W divided by volume. W is the weight of this soil prism. Unit weight gamma is equal to weight divided by volume. Volume of this prism is H into B cos I. So the weight of this soil prism W is equal to gamma unit weight into volume HB into cos I. This is the weight of the soil prism between the infinite soil slope AB and the failure plane CD. Check that weight here. The weight of the soil prism W acting vertically downwards. Please keep in mind this weight is the gravitational force. That is the definition of weight. The weight of the body is the gravitational force acting on the body. The weight is acting in the vertically downward direction with this inclined surface CD. The weight W making an angle of 90 minus I. Here with this inclined surface CD, the vertically downward weight W making the angle 90 minus I. So resolve this weight W into two components. One component is T parallel to surface CD. Other component is N perpendicular to surface CD. We resolve this weight into two components. One component parallel to surface CD. Other component perpendicular to surface CD. Parallel component T is called tangential component. Perpendicular component N is called the normal component. So like that, the weight W resolved into tangential component T parallel to surface CD, normal component N perpendicular to surface CD. As per the resolution, this T is equal to W cos 90 minus I. This N is equal to W sin 90 minus I. So the tangential component T is equal to W cos 90 minus I, W sin I. Normal component N is equal to W sin 90 minus I, W cos I. You know this weight W, gamma H into B cos I. Substitute that W on the right hand side. in both equations, substitute the W on the right hand side, find out the tangential component and normal component of the weight W. The normal component N perpendicular to surface CD is gamma HB cos square I. The tangential component T parallel to surface CD is gamma HB cos I into sin I. So these two are the components, forces, because this W is the gravitational force, N is the normal force, T is the tangential force. Tangential force is also called shear force. So here N is the normal force because W is the gravitational force. N is normal force, T is the tangential force. Now coming to this soil prism. The inclined width of the soil prism is B. The thickness of soil prism is unit thickness. The vertical height of soil prism is H. So check this surface CD. This is the plane CD. For that plane CD, B is the width, unit thickness. The thickness is unit thickness. So the area of this surface CD is B into 1. Just now I explained the weight of this soil prism W resolved into two components. One component perpendicular to surface CD, normal component. Other component parallel to surface CD, tangential component T. Just now we discussed the weight of this soil prism resolved into two components. One is normal component N perpendicular to surface CD. Other one is tangential component T parallel to surface CD. Now on this surface CD, because of the normal component N, due to normal component N, the normal stress is developed on the surface CD. Due to the normal component N, the normal stress developed on the surface CD, that is indicated as sigma. Sigma is the normal stress. This is called the total normal stress. We call this sigma as the total normal stress acting on the surface CD. Stress is equal to force divided by area of the surface. So here this normal stress sigma is equal to normal force N divided by area of this surface CD B into 1. Similarly, the tangential component T produces the shear stress tau on the surface CD. Tangential component T or the tangential force T. T is tangential force, it is also called shear force. That tangential force T produces the shear stress tau on the surface CD. That shear stress tau is equal to tangential force T divided by area of this surface CD B into 1. So like that, the surface CD subjected to two forces, two stresses. Surface CD subjected to two forces. One is the normal force N. Next one is the tangential force T. Because of those forces, the surface CD subjected to two stresses, normal stress sigma and tangential stress or shear stress tau. Check this shear stress direction. The shear stress direction is downwards. Because of this downward shear stress, this entire soil between the soil slope AB, failure plane CD, this entire soil mass due to this shear stress tau is moving in downward direction. Because this shear stress tau is in the downward direction, this shear stress tau causes this entire soil mass movement in the downward direction that leads to the failure of the soil slope. So in this case, the soil slope AB subjected to failure because of this shear stress tau. So this is called the shear stress causing the failure. But the failure of this soil slope is prevented by the shear strength of the soil. This soil is having the engineering property shear strength. That shear strength indicated as S. That shear strength of the soil prevents the failure of this soil slope. So S is the shear strength resisting the soil slope failure. Tau is the shear stress causing the failure of soil slope. Now we are going to see the equation of total normal stress sigma and the shear stress tau on that soil prism. So this is the calculation. The total normal stress sigma on the surface CD is equal to normal force N divided by area of the surface CD V into 1. Normal force N is gamma HB into R square I divided by B into 1, that is B. So this total normal stress sigma is equal to gamma H cos square I. Similarly, the tangential force T produces shear stress on the surface CD. That shear stress tau is equal to tangential force T divided by V into 1 area of the surface CD. So this tangential force T is gamma HB cos I into sin I divided by B. So this shear stress tau is equal to gamma H cos I into sin I. This shear stress tau causing the failure of the soil slope about the failure surface CD. Now coming to this first condition. In the first condition, the soil is in dry condition. If the soil is in dry condition, there is no seepage flow in the soil. If there is no seepage flow, there is no pore water pressure acting in the soil. So in this first condition, the pore water pressure U is equal to 0. You know that according to Terzaghi theory, the effective stress in the soil, effective stress is indicated as sigma dash. The effective stress in the soil is equal to the total normal stress sigma minus the pore water pressure small u. That is the equation of this effective normal stress sigma dash. This is the Terzaghi's approach. According to Terzaghi, the effective normal stress sigma dash in the soil is equal to the total normal stress sigma in the soil minus the pore water pressure in the soil. In dry condition, the pore water pressure is 0. So the effective normal stress sigma dash is equal to total normal stress sigma. Here you must please focus attention. In soils, we have effective normal stress and also effective normal force. Two things are there. One is the effective normal stress. Similarly, we have effective normal force. Effective normal force is equal to total normal force minus pore water force. Effective normal force is equal to N dash. That is equal to total normal force N minus the pore water force capital U. That is one approach in the Terzaghi. The second one is effective normal stress, not the force. Effective normal stress sigma dash is equal to total normal stress sigma minus the pore water pressure small u. In this dry condition, we know the total normal stress sigma. So we are calculating the effective normal stress sigma dash is equal to total normal stress minus the pore water pressure. Since the soil is in dry condition, pore water pressure is 0. So in this dry condition, the effective normal stress sigma dash is equal to the total normal stress sigma. Already we calculated this total normal stress. Sigma is equal to gamma H into cos square I. Now apply the Terzaghi shear strength equation to find out the shear strength of the Kosu soil in the dry condition. According to the Terzaghi's equation, the maximum shear strength of soil resisting the soil slope failure. S is equal to C dash, that is the cohesion of soil, plus sigma dash into tan phi dash. In this right hand side, we know this sigma dash, effective normal stress. Sigma dash is equal to gamma h cos square I. So the shear strength of the soil, cohesive soil, resisting the soil slope failure, S is equal to C dash plus gamma h cos square I into tan phi dash. This shear strength S is resisting the soil slope failure, whereas the shear stress tau causing the soil slope failure. Now we can calculate the factor of safety of shear strength in this dry condition of cohesive soil. That is, the factor of safety of shear strength Fs is equal to the maximum shear strength resisting the failure of the soil slope divided by the shear stress causing the failure of soil slope. This is the equation of factor of safety of shear strength, that is equal to S divided by T. S is the maximum shear strength resisting the failure. T is the shear stress causing the failure, S by T. We know this S value from Terzaghi, C dash plus gamma h cos square I into tan phi dash divided by tau, gamma h cos I into sin I. This is the equation of factor of safety for the infinite cohesive soil slope when the soil is in dry condition. By conducting the laboratory experiments, we can calculate this C dash value, by conducting the core cutter method or the sand replacement method. We can find out this unit weight of soil in the field gamma, and we know this depth h where that weak plane will exist, and by conducting the survey we can find out this angle I, and also in the laboratory we can find out this phi dash value. So on the right hand side, by conducting the laboratory experiments, you know this C dash and phi dash, and also by conducting the field test core cutter method or sand replacement method, we can find out this gamma value, that is the unit weight of soil in the soil slope, and you can also predict this height h where that failure plane will exist below the soil slope. Then by substituting those values on the right hand side, C dash value, phi dash value, I value, gamma value, h value on the right hand side, we can calculate this factor of safety of the cohesive infinite soil slope. As usual, if the factor of safety is more than 1, soil slope is stable. If factor of safety equal to 1, soil slope is just stable. If factor of safety less than 1, the soil slope is in critical condition, failure condition. So this is the factor of safety equation. Just compare this equation with cohesionless soil. In the cohesionless soil, in dry condition, the factor of safety of shear strength Fs is equal to tan phi dash by tan I. That is the factor of safety of the infinite cohesionless soil in dry condition. Fs is equal to tan phi dash divided by tan I. Whereas in cohesive soils, Fs is equal to C dash plus gamma h cos square I tan phi dash whole divided by gamma h cos I into sin I. So that is the factor of safety of infinite cohesive soil slope in the dry condition. This is first condition. The next one is submerged condition. Sometimes the entire soil slope is below the water. That happens in rainy seasons. During the heavy rainy seasons, the entire cohesive soil slope is inside the water. That is called submerged condition. Already I explained, in the submerged condition, you will consider this gamma unit weight as submerged unit weight gamma dash. That is only the difference between the dry condition and the submerged condition. In the submerged condition, since the entire soil is below the water, the unit weight of soil is taken as the submerged unit weight gamma dash. So in that second condition, submerged condition, so this is the factor of safety. Coming to the submerged condition situation, so in the submerged condition, we assume this soil slope is entirely below the water. So this entire soil slope is submerged with water. Since it is entirely below the water, it is called submerged condition. Since this soil slope is entirely below the water, the entire soil here, Kosu soil, the entire Kosu soil is in the submerged condition. Since the entire soil is in submerged condition, we consider the submerged unit weight of soil gamma dash in the determination of factor of safety. Whereas in the first case, dry soil, we consider that unit weight as gamma. Whereas in the second case, submerged condition, we consider that submerged unit weight gamma dash of the soil. Except the difference, the discussion in the submerged condition is same as the discussion in dry condition. So in the submerged condition, we are going to find out the area of the soil prism. Area A is equal to height h into horizontal width b cos I. By considering unit thickness of the soil prism, we calculate the volume of the soil prism V. Volume V is equal to height h into horizontal width b cos I into unit thickness. So that volume V is equal to h into b cos I. In the submerged condition, the unit weight is gamma dash, submerged unit weight. So calculate the weight of the soil prism in the submerged condition. Weight W is equal to gamma dash into volume, that is gamma dash into h into v cos I. On the surface CD, resolve that weight into two components. Normal component N, W cos I, tangential component T, W sin I. So that normal component N, that is normal force, N is equal to W cos I, that is equal to gamma dash into H into V cos I into cos I cos square I. Whereas the tangential component T, tangential force T, is equal to W sin I, that is equal to gamma dash into H into V cos I into sin I. Then due to that normal force N, the total normal stress sigma acting on the surface CD, normal stress sigma is equal to normal force N divided by area of the surface CD B into 1. Therefore, sigma is equal to, you know that normal force N gamma dash into H into V cos square I divided by area of the surface CD B into 1. So the normal stress, total normal stress sigma is equal to gamma dash into H into cos square I. Then the tangential force T produces the shear stress tau on the surface CD. The shear stress tau is equal to tangential force T divided by area of the surface CD B into 1. The tangential force T is equal to gamma dash into H into B into cos I into sin I divided by area of the surface CD B into 1. So you will get the shear stress tau is equal to gamma dash into H into cos I into sin I. This is the shear stress tau equation. Since the soil is in submerged condition, we take this submerged unit weight gamma dash. So tau is equal to gamma dash H into cos I into sin I. In the submerged condition also, the pore water pressure U is 0. When the entire soil is inside the water, the pore water pressure is 0. Since the pore water pressure is 0, the effective normal stress sigma dash is equal to total normal stress sigma. So in the submerged condition, the effective normal stress sigma dash is equal to total normal stress sigma, that is gamma dash h into cos square I. So this is the effective normal stress in the submerged condition. This is the shear stress tau in the submerged condition. This shear stress tau causing the failure. Here this gamma dash is the submerged unit weight of the soil. Apply the Terzaghi equation to calculate the shear strength S of the soil. Shear strength S is equal to C dash plus sigma dash into tan phi dash. This shear strength S resisting the failure, shear strength tau causing the failure. So the factor of safety of shear strength Fs is equal to S by T, that is C dash plus sigma dash tan phi dash divided by shear stress tau. You know that the sigma dash in the submerged condition gamma dash h into cos square I. So the factor of safety in the submerged condition Fs is equal to C dash plus gamma dash h cos square I into tan phi dash divided by gamma dash h into cos I into sin I. This is the equation of factor of safety for the infinite Kosu soil slope when the soil slope is in submerged condition. In the dry condition, we have this gamma, that is bulk unit weight of soil, whereas in the submerged condition, we have gamma dash, the submerged unit weight of soil. So this is the factor of safety of the infinite Kosu soil slope in the totally submerged condition. So far we discussed the stability analysis of infinite Kosu soil slope in the dry condition and also in the submerged condition. Then the third one is the seepage flow condition. The third condition is the seepage flow condition. Before going to discuss that seepage flow condition, if anybody is having doubts regarding that dry condition and the submerged condition of infinite Kosu soil slope, please interact with me. If you have doubts regarding that dry condition and the submerged condition, you please interact with me. Dear students, please give me the response. Please give me the response. Is my voice audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Taran, thank you. Now, coming to this third case, very important. Please, everyone, follow this third condition. The seepage flow condition in the infinite Kosu soil slope. Already I explained this seepage flow in the oceanless infinite soil slope. Now we are going to discuss the seepage flow condition if the infinite soil slope is a Kosu soil. We know that during the rainy seasons, the rainwater flows inside the soil. Vertically it flows inside the soil, and also from the top of the mountains the rainwater starts flowing inside the soil in downward direction. So from the top of the mountains, when the rain falls on the mountains, the rainwater from that mountain starts flowing downwards inside the infinite Kosu soil slope. So whenever the water is flowing in the soil, that movement of water is called seepage flow. Seepage flow indicates the movement of water in the soil. Sometimes the water will move vertically downwards. Sometimes the water moves horizontally. Sometimes the water moves in the inclined direction. So in this third case, we assume the water is flowing through this infinite Kosu soil slope. Check that direction of water flow. The direction of water flow, that is seepage flow, is parallel to the soil slope AB. So here the seepage flow is parallel to soil slope AB. So this seepage flow also with horizontal makes the angle I. Now due to this seepage flow, the entire soil in the soil slope is in saturated condition. Due to this seepage flow, the entire soil is in saturated condition. So in this third condition, we consider the another unit weight of soil, gamma saturation. Gamma saturation is called the saturated unit weight of soil. Because of the seepage flow, the entire soil is in saturated condition. So we consider the gamma saturation unit weight in this discussion. So please follow this carefully. In dry condition, we consider the unit weight as gamma. In the submerged condition, we consider the unit weight as gamma dash, submerged unit weight. Whereas in the seepage flow condition, the entire soil is in saturated condition. So we consider the unit weight as gamma saturation. Now coming to the stability analysis of the cohesive infinite soil slope in the seepage flow condition. Again, we are going to discuss the derivation of factor of safety in this third condition, seepage flow condition. So, we consider in the third condition the infinite cohesive soil slope AB on the side of the mountain. The infinite cohesive soil slope AB making the angle I with horizontal. This soil slope subjected to translational failure about the failure surface CD at a vertical depth h below the soil slope. We assume the water is flowing in this soil slope, that is seepage flow in the downward direction parallel to the soil surface AB. To discuss the stability analysis of this soil slope, consider the soil prism between the soil slope AB and the failure surface CD. Check that soil prism between the soil slope AB and the failure surface CD. So this is that soil prism between the soil slope AB and the failure surface CD. You know that the seepage is flowing in the soil. Due to that seepage flow, the entire soil is in saturated condition. Then B is the inclined width of the soil prism, H is the vertical height. So the horizontal width of the soil prism is B cos I. The area of the soil prism is H into B cos I. Take the unit thickness of the soil prism in the vertical direction. So the volume of the soil prism is height H into horizontal width B cos I into unit thickness 1. So the volume of the soil prism V is equal to H into B cos I. Since due to seepage flow, the entire soil is in saturated condition, we must consider gamma saturation, that is the saturated unit weight of soil in this third condition. According to definition, gamma saturation is equal to the weight of the soil prism W divided by volume of the soil prism H into B cos I. So this weight of the soil prism W is equal to, in the third condition, weight of the soil prism W is equal to gamma saturation into volume of the soil prism H into B cos I. Here this gamma saturation is called the saturated unit weight of soil, because due to seepage flow, the entire soil is in saturated condition. The weight of the soil prism W is equal to gamma saturation into H into V cos I. Now coming to this weight W, the weight W acting vertically downwards. Please don't confuse. Weight is not the pressure. Weight is not the stress. Weight is gravitational force only. So here this W is the force, not the stress, not the pressure. So the weight of the soil prism W acting vertically downwards. Resolve this weight W into two component forces. One component force parallel to surface CD, that is T, tangential component. Other component force perpendicular to surface CD, that is N, normal component. So please follow this diagram. The weight W acting vertically downwards. With this surface CD, the weight is making the angle of 90 minus I. Please everyone observe this. If this weight W, if the weight W, just assume, if the weight W acting vertically upwards, here it is acting vertically downwards. If the weight W acting vertically upward, then also with this surface CD, the weight is making the same angle of 90 minus I. So this vertical, please check this. This vertical with the surface CD, either upward or downward. This vertical with the surface CD making the angle of 90 minus I. So the weight of the solid prism W acting vertically downward with the surface CD, it is making the angle 90 minus I. Resolve this weight W into two component forces. Because weight is the force, gravitational force. Resolve that weight W into two component forces. One is tangential component force T. Next one is normal component force N. This N is perpendicular to surface CD. We know that N is equal to W cos I, T is equal to W sin I. So resolve this weight W into two component forces. Normal component force N, W cos I. W is equal to gamma saturation into H into B cos I. So this normal component force N is equal to gamma saturation HB into cos I cos square I. This is the normal component force N. Then the tangential component force T is equal to W into sin I. So the tangential component force T is equal to gamma saturation HB cos I into sin I. So this T is equal to gamma saturation HB into cos I into sin I. Please focus on these two components. This is a normal component force. This is a tangential component force. Now, in the third condition, we are going to consider the seepage flow in the soil. So, check this diagram. We consider the seepage flow effect in the soil prism, because in third condition, we consider the seepage flow through the soil slope. So, we consider the seepage flow in the soil prism. Just now we discussed the seepage flow direction parallel to the soil slope AB. This is the seepage flow direction. The seepage flow is in the inclined direction, not horizontal. Since the soil slope is inclined, we assume the seepage flow also in the inclined direction downward parallel to the soil slope AB. Due to this seepage flow, please listen everyone, due to this seepage flow, the soil in this soil prism subjected to the pore water pressure. Because of this seepage flow, the soil in the soil prism subjected to pore water pressure. The pore water pressure in soils indicated as small u. Pore water pressure indicated as small u. That pore water pressure magnitude is equal to unit weight of water gamma W into the height of the soil prism. The height of the soil prism perpendicular to direction of seepage flow. That is the magnitude of pore water pressure acting on this soil prism. So because of this seepage flow, the soil in the soil prism subjected to pore water pressure. The magnitude of pore water pressure is equal to unit weight of water into the height of the soil prism perpendicular to direction of seepage flow. We know that this height of the soil prism perpendicular to direction of seepage flow is h into cos I. Already in the stability analysis of torsionless soil slope, we discussed this height of the soil prism perpendicular to direction of seepage flow, that is h cos I. So at this bottom surface CD, please check this, at this bottom surface CD, due to this seepage flow, the pore water pressure, please, it is not the force, pore water pressure is acting on the surface CD in the vertically upward direction. Always the pore water pressure is acting in vertically upward direction. The weight W acting vertically downward direction. The pore water pressure acting vertically upward direction. That is equal to unit weight of water into the height of the soil prism perpendicular to direction of the seepage flow. This height is equal to h cos I. So by using this diagram, already I explained the height of this soil prism. This is PS. The height of the soil prism perpendicular to the direction of seepage flow is h cos I. I explained this calculation in the first condition. Now find out the magnitude of pore water pressure acting at this surface CD. On the surface CD, the pore water pressure acting in the perpendicularly upward direction, that is vertically upward direction on the surface CD due to this seepage flow. Because of this seepage flow, the entire soil in the prism subjected to pore water pressure. The pore water pressure acting vertically upward direction on the surface CD. The magnitude of the pore water pressure is gamma W, unit weight of water into the height of the soil prism perpendicular to direction of seepage flow h cos I. So on this surface CD, the pore water pressure, please focus this, this is not the force, this is the pressure. Pressure is equal to force divided by area, but it is not the force, it is the pressure. So the pore water pressure is acting on the surface CD due to this seepage flow in the perpendicularly in the vertically upward direction. That magnitude is equal to gamma W into h cos I. Now, just now I explained this vertical with the surface CD making the angle of 90 minus I. Just now we discussed the weight W acting vertically downwards with the surface CD, the weight making the angle 90 minus I. Similarly, this vertical pore water pressure, upward vertical pore water pressure with the surface CD making the angle of 90 minus I. So on the surface CD, resolve this pore water pressure into two components. Resolve this pore water pressure on the surface CD into two components. One component perpendicular to surface CD. We are resolving this pore water pressure on the surface CD into two components. One component perpendicular to surface CD, other component parallel to surface CD. So like that, this vertical upward pore water pressure on the surface CD is resolved into two component pressures, not the forces, please. Two component pressures. One component pressure perpendicular to surface CD like this. One component pressure perpendicular to surface CD, other component pressure parallel to surface CD. The perpendicular pressure component, is equal to U into cos I. The tangential pressure component is U into sin I. So like that, we resolve this pore water pressure into two components. One component, normal component. This is not the force, please, because we are using the pressure. So this is the normal component pressure. The next one is the tangential component pressure. So like this. This pore water pressure, vertically upward pore water pressure on the surface CD resolved into two component pressures. One is normal component pressure U cos I. Next one is tangential component pressure U sin I. Please check this normal component pressure U cos I. This is the normal component pressure. This normal component pressure is acting on the surface CD in the perpendicular upward direction. The normal component pressure of this pore water pressure. Pore water pressure is vertically upward U. We resolve this pore water pressure into normal component and the tangential component. Please focus on this normal component only. Neglect this tangential component. That is not necessary in this stability analysis. We are not going to consider this U sin I in this discussion. We are going to consider only the normal component pressure U cos I of this pore water pressure. This normal component pressure is perpendicular to surface CD but acting in the upward direction. Convert this normal component pressure into force. You know that force is equal to pressure by area. So pressure is equal to pressure is equal to force by area. So force is equal to pressure into area. That is the relation. The force is equal to pressure into area. So convert this normal component pressure U cos I. Convert this normal component pressure into force. Since it is acting on the surface CD, area of the surface CD is B into 1. Since it is acting on the surface CD, area is B into 1. Convert this normal component pressure into force. That force is equal to normal component pressure U cos I into area B into 1. So follow that calculation carefully. We resolve the pore water pressure into normal component pressure and tangential component pressure. In this discussion, we neglect this tangential component pressure. We neglect the tangential component pressure. We consider the normal component pressure on the surface CD. That normal component pore water pressure. Normal component pore water pressure is equal to U cos I. Already you know this pore water pressure U, gamma W into H cos I, that is U gamma W into H cos I into cos I. So this normal component of pore water pressure is gamma W into H into cos square I. Now convert this normal component pore water pressure into force. Force is equal to pressure into area. That area is area of the surface CD B into 1. We call that force. Please listen everyone. The force calculated from this normal component pore water pressure is called pore water force. This is pressure. Please remember, this is pressure. By using this pressure, normal component pore water pressure, we are calculating the force acting on the surface CD. The force is equal to pressure into area. Area is B into 1. So we are converting the normal component pore water pressure into force. That force is called the pore water force. So that U cos I is converted. U cos I is converted in terms of force. Check the direction of U cos I. U cos I acting perpendicular to surface CD in the upward direction. So this U cos I is perpendicular to surface CD in the upward direction. Convert this U cos I pressure into force. Force is equal to pressure U cos I into the area B into 1. That force is called the pore water force capital U. This is called pore water force. pore water force is equal to pore water pressure U cos I, that is gamma W H cos square I into area V into 1. So at the bottom of the surface CD, at this bottom of the surface CD, we converted this normal component of pore water pressure U cos I into force, that is called the pore water force capital U. That pore water force is equal to pore water pressure U cos I into area B into 1. So you will get that pore water force is equal to gamma W HB into cos square I. This pore water force is perpendicular to surface CD but acting in the upward direction. So check the soil prism now. This is the soil prism in the seepage flow condition. So in the third condition, please everyone observe the diagram. In the third condition, we assume the soil is in seepage flow. In that seepage flow condition, we calculate the weight of the soil prism W, gamma saturation, HB into cos square I, cos I. We resolve that weight W into two components on the surface CD. The weight is a force. The weight is resolved into two components. One is this normal component force N. Next one is the tangential component force T. These two are the forces from the weight of the soil prism. Then we consider the seepage flow in the soil. Due to the seepage flow, the pore water pressure acting on the soil, pore water pressure small u is equal to gamma W into the inclined height of the soil prism H cos I. That pore water pressure is acting vertically upward direction. We resolve that pore water pressure into two components. One is normal component of pore water pressure U cos I, tangential component of pore water pressure U sin I. We neglect the tangential component. We convert that normal component of pore water pressure into force. This U is the pore water force. We calculate this pore water force U from the normal component of pore water pressure U cos I. So check this surface CD. On the surface CD in the perpendicular direction, on the surface CD in the perpendicular direction, we have two normal forces. One is this N, downward direction. Other one is U, upward direction. N is called the total normal force. U is called the pore water normal force. So here on the surface CD, we have two normal forces. One is N due to the weight W. Other one is U due to the pore water pressure. N is called the total normal force on the surface CD. U is called the pore water pressure normal force on the surface CD. These two forces are in the opposite directions. Now coming to the calculation, this tangential component T produces the shear stress on the surface CD. Shear stress tau is equal to tangential component T divided by area of the surface CD B into 1. So find out that shear stress tau. Tau is equal to tangential component T divided by area of the surface CD B into 1. Tangential component T in the third case is gamma saturation HB into cos I into sin I divided by area of surface CD B into 1. So here this shear stress tau on the surface CD is equal to gamma saturation H into cos I into sin I. This shear stress causing the failure of the side slope AB. Now coming to the calculation of effective normal force, not the stress please. Effective normal force in the third case. We know that in the third case we have two normal forces. Just now I explained. In the third case we have two normal forces. One is the total normal force N. Next one is the pore water pressure normal force U. Now by using these two normal forces, we can calculate the effective normal force on the surface CD. effective normal force is N dash. That effective normal force is equal to total normal force N minus the pore water pressure normal force U. N minus U is the effective normal force on the surface CD. So the effective normal force on the surface CD is equal to total normal force N minus the pore water pressure normal force U. So N dash is equal to N minus U. You know this N value, gamma saturation HB cos square I. You know this U value, gamma W HB cos square I. Take this HB cos square I in these two terms common. So it becomes gamma saturation minus gamma W into HB cos square I. In soil mechanics, you might have studied gamma saturation minus gamma W is called the submerged unit weight of soil gamma dash. That is the relation in soil mechanics. Gamma saturation minus gamma W is called this gamma dash. Gamma dash is the submerged unit weight of soil. So here gamma saturation minus gamma W is gamma dash. So this effective normal force, not the stress please, effective normal force is equal to gamma dash HB into cos square I, because gamma saturation minus gamma W is equal to gamma dash. This effective normal force N dash is acting on the surface CD. The area of the surface CD V into 1. So by using this effective normal force N dash, we can calculate the effective normal stress on the surface CD. Sigma dash effective normal stress is equal to effective normal force N dash divided by area of the surface CD B into 1. N dash is gamma dash HB cos square I divided by B into 1. So you will get this sigma dash is equal to gamma dash H into cos square I. This is the effective normal stress in the seepage flow condition. Then apply the Terzaghi's shear strength equation. According to Terzaghi, the maximum shear strength S preventing the failure of soil slope, S is equal to C dash plus sigma dash into tan phi dash in the cohesive soils. Then substitute the sigma dash in the right hand side. We calculated this sigma dash for the third case. Sigma dash is equal to gamma dash H into cos square I. That is this value of effective normal stress, gamma dash H into cos square I. So the shear strength S for this third condition, S is equal to C dash plus gamma dash H into cos square I into tan phi dash. This is the resisting shear strength, and also we know the shear stress causing the failure tau. So by using that resisting shear strength S and the shear stress tau, we can calculate the factor of safety for the third condition, seepage flow condition. The factor of safety of shear strength Fs is equal to shear strength S divided by shear stress tau. S is equal to C dash plus gamma dash H cos square I into tan phi dash, and the shear stress tau is equal to gamma saturation H into cos I into sin I. This is the equation of factor of safety for the infinite cohesive soil slope in the seepage flow condition. So the factor of safety of shear strength in the seepage flow condition of infinite cohesive soil slope, Fs is equal to C dash plus gamma dash into H cos square I into tan phi dash divided by gamma saturation into H into cos I into sin I. Dear students, we completed the stability analysis of cohesive soil slope for all the three conditions: dry condition, submerged condition, and also seepage flow condition. So with this, in the unit 2, we discussed the infinite soil slope for the portionless soil and also for cohesive soil. In the portionless soil, we consider the three conditions: dry condition, submerged condition, and a seepage flow condition. In that Kosu soils also we discuss dry condition, seepage condition, and also submerged condition. Now, if you have the doubts regarding this infinite soil slopes, either in the oceanless soil or in the Kosu soil, either in dry condition, submerged condition, or seepage flow condition, please interact with me. Any doubts regarding this stability analysis of infinite cohesive soil slopes? If you have any doubts about this infinite soil slopes, it may be either the cohesive soil or oceanless soil. Interact with me. Please interact with me regarding this stability analysis of infinite soil slopes. If anybody is having doubts regarding this stability analysis of infinite soil slopes, either in dry condition, submerged condition, or seepage flow condition, please discuss with me. If you have doubts regarding this discussion of the stability analysis of infinite soil slopes.
Good morning, sir.
Just a minute, please. Tell me.
Oceanless soil के coastal soil की difference ఏంటి sir? Oceanless soil के coastal soil difference ఏంటి sir?
In oceanless soil, the soil particles are independent. There is no contact, there is no bond between the soil particles. For example, take sand. In sand, the soil particles are individual particles. By using our eye, we can see the sand particles separately. For example, if you take the coarse sand, in coarse sand, the soil particles are individual particles. There is no contact, there is no attraction. Whereas if we take clay, in clay, you cannot see those soil particles. I can tell you more clearly. If you add water to the sand, if you add water to the sand, the sand particles cannot stick to each other in water also. By adding water also, the soil particles cannot stick to each other. If you add water to the clay, the soil particles are stick to each other. They converts into uniform. So there is attraction between the clay particles. That attraction is called cohesion. Attraction between the same particles is called cohesion. Whereas in sand, there is no such type of attraction between the soil particles. That is called cohesionless soil. The sand is a cohesionless soil, whereas in clay, there is attraction between the soil particles. That is called cohesive soil. That attraction is called cohesion.
14-7% కంతా
118. Any doubts?
చెప్పు నేను మాట్లాడుతున్నాను అన్న యాడో తెలియదు ఏమో
రోల్ నెంబర్ 118
అంటే గుడ్ ఆఫ్ అలవా అవసరం అయితే మనకి సార్ ఉన్నాయి అనుకో శివకుమార్ రెడ్డి వాళ్ళందరూ ఉన్నాయి వీళ్ళు ఇస్తే కదా తీసుకున్న వాళ్ళ నిరంజన్ రెడ్డి తక్కన కవర్ అయిపోద్ది ఎట్లా అట్లా అగిచ్చా రకరకైనా
Yashwant,
కదా
Okay, please. Now coming to this infinite cohesive soil slope. Please switch off the mics. Coming to this discussion of infinite cohesive soil slope. In the today's class, we discussed the dry condition of infinite cohesive soil slope. In the today's class, I explained the dry condition of infinite cohesive soil slope. In that dry condition, please listen students, in the dry condition of infinite cohesive soil slope, we prepare the equation of factor of safety. For the infinite cohesive soil slope in dry condition, this is the factor of safety equation. Fs is equal to C dash plus gamma h cos square I tan phi dash divided by gamma h into cos I into sin I. This is the equation of factor of safety of infinite cohesive soil slope in dry condition. If factor of safety Fs greater than 1, the slope is stable. So if that factor of safety Fs is greater than 1, slope is stable. If factor of safety less than 1, the slope is not stable. If factor of safety Fs is equal to 1, the slope is just stable. Now we are going to discuss what is this height h. What is this height h? If the factor of safety Fs is equal to 1 in the first condition. So coming to that discussion, if Fs is equal to 1 in that previous equation, if Fs is equal to 1 from this equation 4, if Fs is equal to 1, bring this denominator to the left side. Since Fs is equal to 1 from this equation, you will get for this factor of safety equal to 1, the condition is gamma h cos psi into sin I is equal to C dash plus gamma h cos square I into tan phi dash. So I am discussing the factor of safety equal to 1 condition for the infinite cohesive soil slope in the dry situation, dry condition. So if this Fs is equal to 1 from this equation, take this denominator to the left side. This equation 4 becomes as gamma h cos I into sin I is equal to C dash plus gamma h cos square I into tan phi dash. Then from this equation, C dash is equal to this C dash. Take this second term to the left side. So this C dash is equal to, C dash is the quotient. C dash is equal to gamma h cos I sin I minus this second term, gamma h cos square I into tan phi dash. So take this gamma h cos I or cos square I. Take this gamma h cos square I common in this right hand side. Take this gamma h cos square I common. So it is gamma h cos square I into, here in the first term we have only cos I, but here I take the cos square I common. So this first term becomes as sin I by cos I minus the second term is tan phi dash. So this is the equation for factor of safety equal to 1, Fs equal to 1. From equation 4, you will get this equation. Then simplify this equation. C dash is equal to gamma h cos I sin I minus gamma h cos square I tan phi dash. Take gamma h cos square I common in the right side. Then this right side becomes as gamma h cos square I into sin I by cos I minus tan phi dash. Sin I by cos I is equal to tan I. So this equation becomes as C dash is equal to gamma h cos square I tan I minus tan phi dash. From this equation, the height h is equal to C dash divided by gamma dash cos square I tan I minus tan phi dash. This height h is prepared by taking the factor of safety as 1. So the height h at factor of safety equal to 1 is called the critical height. In that infinite cohesive soil slope at dry condition, by taking the factor of safety equal to 1, Fs equal to 1, we got the equation for the height h. This is the height of the soil slope failure. So this height h of the soil slope is about to failure because the factor of safety equal to 1. We call this height h as the critical height. So here this critical height HC is equal to C dash divided by gamma cos square I into tan I minus tan phi dash at a factor of safety equal to unity. So with this, the stability analysis of infinite soil slopes is completed for both oceanless soil as well as COSU soils. We completed the discussion of factor of safety stability analysis of infinite soil slope, and in the tomorrow class we will start the stability analysis of finite soil slopes. Okay students, with this I am going to stop the today's class. We will continue this unit 2 discussion, the further concepts in tomorrow class. Please go to the next class.